This video is really close to my heart, and that's because in this video I get to share with you my TTC testimony, and it's something I've always wanted to share, and I'm really grateful that I get to do that on this platform and with you. So without saying too much, let's get into the video. I got married in August 2019, and I had always been that person that wanted to get married, have my kids immediately, and just, you know, grow together. That's something I always wanted to do. That was like a dream. I didn't want to get married and wait before having kids. No, that wasn't my plan at all. But, so I got married, and after marriage, my plan was just to, start popping them kids. Don't mind me. Yeah, but that was what I wanted, and it didn't happen immediately. So for the first few months, for the first 3 to 4 months, I was fine. I wasn't bothered when it didn't happen, but I was so hopeful. And then it got to the fifth month, the sixth. Ah, what is happening now? Nothing, no show. Hey, anybody that has ever tried to conceive knows the struggle. It is one of the hardest things a lady can ever go through. It is draining, it is physically, mentally, emotionally troubling. It's not something I wish on anybody at all. Mm-mm. Uh, no, it's terrible. Uh, that waiting period is wow. It's wow. And then your body tries to play games with you. There are some people that during this period become so insensitive, asking you insensitive questions, just prying, and ah, you don't need that at all. So after the fifth month, the sixth month, I started getting worried. Seriously, like what's going on? Every time my period will keep showing as if we have an appointment. And I didn't want that at all. So I started getting worried. Yeah, my husband was so supportive, always there talking to me, telling me not to get worried. So by the seventh month, it was just too much. You know, someone who has gone through this phase will understand the struggle. Like how it happens is when you're trying to conceive, that is when your body will start playing games with you. That's when you begin to lose, that's when you begin to miss period for like a day or 2 days. And then the time you miss your period, you start feeling as if you start having all these symptoms of pregnancy. And the moment you do a test and it shows negative, just give it a few hours, that period will come. Like, I don't know how that happens. I don't know why that happens, but that's the struggle. So that happened to me several times. Several times. So I started taking Clomid. I was put on Clomid and was told not to worry. Just keep living your life normal. Keep doing the things you're doing and it will come. It got to the 8th month. That was in March. My worry doubled. The period will just keep showing face. I don't want you to come now. Is it by force? But I was so hopeful and I was praying, telling God, this is what you said in your word. This is what you promised me. During that period, I remember one time, I think that was in the 9th month, that was in 2020. Period was supposed to show and it didn't, as usual, missing appointments. It didn't come, and then I started feeling like I started having the symptoms again, and I was praying and really hoping that okay, this is it. That was like the second day I was expecting it and it didn't show, so I decided to do a strip test, and that was like my second to the last strip because I bought about 7 to 10 and I kept on trying them monthly and nothing was happening. So that was like my second to the last strip. And I did the test waiting for the result, and then I took my phone and was going through Instagram and I saw this really amazing video. It was a surprise baby shower for a lady. It was beautiful. It was just beautiful. And even though there was quarantine, her friends made it really special for her. It was amazing. And I was just watching that. And in the background was this Duduke song playing. Ha! After watching it, I went to check for my result, and yeah, one line was negative. Oh, I cried. Mm-mm. I cried. And all those tears would just break my husband's heart. And it wasn't really something I wanted to do in front of him, because I knew how much he would hurt seeing me in that, um, seeing me like that. Ah, no. So I would hide and cry and pray. So I went to the doctor on the 12th month. That was in on the 11th month. That was in July. The next month will make it 12 months. That's August. And the doctor said there may be no problem. It may just be that is not happening and it's going to happen. And that some people start doing something about it in the 12th month, or some even wait till 24 months, as long as you're fine. So I shouldn't really disturb myself. I shouldn't get worried. I should just wait and keep trying. And the thing is, when you're trying to conceive, it's easy for people to say, don't worry, it's going to happen. Really, really. And even though I know that worrying doesn't do anything, even the Bible says do not worry, but then that is so hard. It's so hard to just not. It takes the actual grace of God to be peaceful at this time, to not worry, to just ah, takes the grace of God. And yeah, I worried. Sometimes I would worry, sometimes I would just hold on to my faith, but I failed many times. It was just so hard. It was so hard. So in August, that was the 12th month, we went to the doctor, I and my husband, and we were told to go for tests. So I was to go for HSG, if I'm getting it correctly, to be sure my tubes were not blocked. And before then, I'd heard so much about HSG and how painful, how terrible it was. But I was scared. I didn't want to go for it because I really don't like anything. I'm zero pain tolerance. I don't like pain. But then it was something I needed to do. So in August, I went for it. I went for mine. It came out okay. My husband also went for his, which came out really okay. And then the doctor said we were having hormonal imbalance and we needed to take some hormonal injections and stuff like that. He told me that I should come to the hospital on the first day of my period. Hmm. This wasn't something I wanted. I didn't want that at all. I didn't want anything injected in me. I didn't want any hormonal stuff. So I just decided not to worry about it. I decided not to talk to my husband about it because I knew that if he saw me worried, or if I brought it up, he would want us to do it. And I just wasn't ready for that at that time. So I was silent about it. I didn't bring it up. I didn't say anything. I didn't ask him when we were going to start. When my period came that August, I just kept quiet. I didn't go to the hospital, nothing, because I wasn't ready. So the next month, September, the second week, I went to church. And while we were praying, the pastor was bringing up things that we should pray about. He would say, someone with an ear infection, God has healed you. He would say this, he would say back pain. He was just mentioning things, being led by the Spirit and mentioning things and just saying God had healed the person. And then, people of God, he mentioned hormonal imbalance and he said God had fixed it. Eh, my people, I took that one very personal. I prayed, I prayed, I keyed into it, and I prayed about it. And after service, I decided to just go and say hello to my pastor, to just greet him. I had been attending the church for a while and also saying hello to the pastor, but he never asked me anything about kids or anything. But when I went to greet him that day, he was now like, Mrs. Amaka, how are the kids? How's your husband? How's the family? And I told him, no kids yet. So he was like, okay, is it by choice or not? And I told him, no, I've been trying to conceive, went to the hospital, and they said hormonal imbalance. My pastor was like, hey, like when I mentioned hormonal imbalance while praying, I was wondering, like, where is that coming from? But now I understand. And then he prayed for me and told me, don't worry, God has done it. And I said, Amen. I believed it, I keyed into it. And that same month, my period decided to show. It came and I wasn't worried. I just kept on praying. At that time, I had just had enough. I didn't want to because it's emotionally draining. It's stressful. It's stressful. So when the period came, I was fine, went through it. I didn't think of going for the injection. And then in October, hmm, I went to church in October. I remember that Sunday I was in church and we were praying. I had missed my period. It was supposed to come on, I think on Friday or Saturday. It hadn't come. And then that was Sunday. I was in church. And then I thought about it. I was like, this thing has not come. Oh. I decided then that I wasn't going to, because it was my last strip test I was having. And I told myself, I won't, um, I won't check it. I won't do anything. I'll just leave it. Whenever it wants to show, let it show. I'm tired. After church, I went home. There was a rally that was supposed to take place, and I planned on joining. But when I got home, I just got tired. I laid on the couch and I just slept off. I didn't really think about it. When I woke up, and the weird thing was, I don't really sleep in the afternoon. But that day I was just tired and I needed to sleep, so I slept. Then the next day, which was a Monday, my husband went to work and I was alone in the house. I was making breakfast. And something just said to me, why don't you just check? Just to be sure, just check. And I had my last strip. So I told myself, I was cooking, I was making breakfast. I offed, I left the food I was making on fire, I offed the gas, and I told myself, this last strip, once I finish with it, that's it. Like, I'm not going to stress. Whenever it happens, it happens. That was what I told myself, and that was why I agreed with myself. And then I went to do the test. And oh Lord, it was positive. I was shocked. Like it was as if they poured cold water on my body. I can't explain it. Ah, I was like, let me go and run a blood test. Let me not be too sure. Maybe it's just the strip test messing with me. So I went to a nearby pharmacy and I did a blood test. She told me to come back in about an hour or so. So I went back in an hour and it was positive. I had to take my time to take it all in. I hadn't told my husband yet. So I had breakfast, I had lunch, and then I sent my husband a text. I decided to play prank on him. I sent him a text to please help me get pad on his way. I didn't tell him anything. I just said he'd help me get pad on his way back from work. Oh, my husband now sent me a message, told me not to worry. Oh no. So, I didn't respond. I didn't say anything. And then when he got back from work, he came back to like encourage me, stuff like that, and I was playing along. Then I told him that I was tired of waiting and I needed to do IVF. One of the times I went to the hospital, the doctor gave me a number of a doctor who does IVF. in Abuja, and he said I should just, if we decided to do if we decide to do an IVF, I should go to that door, I should call him and tell him he sent me, the doctor sent me. So I kept that number. So when my husband came back, I told him I was done and I wanted to go for the IVF. I was ready to go for the IVF. And the funny thing is, this is not really something we had talked about in the past, though. But I told him, and he was being encouraging. I was like, no problem. So I told him, I'm going to give him the doctor's number to call the doctor, just book an appointment with him, and then we'll decide on when we're going. And he was like, no problem. I don't even know why he was doing that, but he was like, no problem. And he was like, no problem, I should get the number. So I went in and I wrote on a piece of paper, I'm pregnant. I put the paper together and I folded the paper and I gave it to him. I told him, that's the number, call the doctor. So my husband opened the paper and for a few seconds, mother couldn't read. He just kept on asking me, what did you write? What did you write? And I'm like, Uncle, you cannot read again. Why are you asking me what did I write? And he was, you're pregnant. It was just a surreal moment. It was amazing. It was so funny that for a few seconds my husband couldn't read. I was asking me what I wrote. That was really something. I know he's going to watch this. Okay, so we're so happy. We were elated. We were excited. We're so thankful to God. I called my mom and I told her my mom always has this baby bed and a few other baby things that she used for her other grandchildren. So when I called my mom, I told her, Mommy, you see that your baby bed, you need to bring it down and start cleaning it though. My mommy screamed. She was so happy. I called my in-laws. My in-laws were so supportive. My During my waiting period, my in-laws were so supportive, always calling to encourage me. It was just beautiful. Like nobody stressed me at all. I was just the person that was feeling down, but no one around me stressed me or asked me or tried to disturb me or anything. No, it was just beautiful. I'm so thankful to God. It wasn't an easy journey, but He kept to His word in my life and He blessed me with an amazing baby. I can't put it into words. It's just amazing. And I'm very thankful. And I'm happy I got to share this story, this testimony with you. And the most amazing part is when I went to the hospital for a test, I found out that I conceived just a few days after that Sunday. God, God is God is God, and He keeps to His words. He keeps to His promises. He never fails. If, like me, you're in waiting, you're TTCing, I just want to tell you that it will happen. I promise you. As long as you trust God, He will do it because He said He will in His word, and He always keeps to His words. So He will do it. Just trust Him. I know it's hard. I know it's heartbreaking. I know people will say, don't worry. And I know sometimes we can't help it, but just trust Him. Just trust Him. I am praying for all my TTC sisters. I pray that God will hear you and bless you because His blessings are beautiful. His blessings are amazing. So, guys, if you followed me this far, thank you so much for listening to my story, my testimony. I really appreciate you. Please do well to like this video, and if you haven't subscribed, No drama today. Just please subscribe. And if you're trying to conceive, I pray for you that God will bless you with that amazing baby that you want. He will bless you with children. Your children shall surround your table. You will not, none, he said in his word that none shall be barren in the land. Not trust him. He will do it. He's still doing it. He has been doing it and he will keep on doing it. Definitely he will do it for you. Okay? And I'll see you next time. Bye.